Humanity's last hope was an impossible ship, an insult to physics and engineering alike. It wasn't sleek, nor did it carry the pristine symmetry of alien crafts that ruled the galaxy. Instead, it was a haphazard amalgamation of patched metal plates, scavenged engines, and weapon systems that had no business being fused together. If you asked any expert, they'd scoff and tell you it wouldn't lift off, let alone survive a single mission. But desperation births miracles. Earth was on the brink of extinction, besieged by an alien coalition with superior ships, advanced technology, and no mercy. Faced with annihilation, humanity did what it always did best: adapt and improvise. The result? A monstrosity of engineering chaos held together by hope and duct tape. The team that built it was a collection of misfits, renegade engineers, rogue scientists, and battlefield technicians who no longer played by conventional rules. Time was a luxury they didn't have. Supply lines were broken. Traditional manufacturing was impossible. They salvaged what they could from bombed-out stations and dismantled enemy crafts. Fuel systems designed for entirely different engines were jury-rigged to work together. Armor plating from obsolete ground tanks was welded onto the hull. Even its navigation system was a Frankenstein's creation, a blend of alien algorithms and old Earth satellite protocols. The AI running the ship wasn't elegant, it was barely functional, often glitching mid-calculation. Some joked that the ship had a personality because it seemed to deliberately defy commands. When the ship was unveiled, skepticism filled the air. Command officials stared in disbelief. Whispers spread through the ranks, "It's a flying coffin." Pilots refused to volunteer, claiming they'd rather take their chances on foot. Yet there was no choice. Humanity needed a miracle, and this was all they had. Against all odds, the engines roared to life during its first test. The ship shuddered violently, as if protesting its own existence. Metal groaned, sparks flew from control panels, and every sensor screamed warnings. Yet it hovered. Then it climbed, defying gravity and the doubts of everyone watching. In that moment, disbelief turned into fragile hope. Maybe it wasn't pretty. Maybe it wasn't supposed to work. But it did. As it ascended into the dark skies above Earth, there was a sense of defiant pride. The ship wasn't a marvel of engineering, it was a testament to the human spirit. Ingenious, reckless, and stubborn beyond reason. It was wrong in every conceivable way, yet nothing would stop it. The first mission awaited, and no one knew what would come next. But one thing was certain: this ship, born of desperation and madness, was about to make history. The ship's first mission was as desperate as its creation. A critical supply convoy was trapped on the far edge of human-controlled space, under relentless attack from alien warships. Without those supplies, Earth's resistance would crumble within weeks. Command deemed it a suicide run, but the ship and its crew were the only option. Inside the cockpit, the atmosphere was tense but determined. The crew, an eclectic group of grizzled veterans and fresh recruits, knew the odds. No one had any illusions about returning home unscathed if they returned at all. The ship rattled and groaned as they powered up the unconventional systems. Lights flickered, the navigation AI stuttered, and the weapons panel displayed half the available arsenal as inoperable. "Typical," muttered the captain, adjusting his harness. "We'll make it work." The journey was rough. The ship's propulsion system, a Frankenstein's blend of human and alien tech, produced erratic bursts of speed. Navigating through asteroid fields felt more like riding a Bronco than piloting a starship. Yet the crew adapted, leaning into the chaos instead of fighting it. Then came the ambush. 4 sleek alien fighters blinked into view, their energy weapons locking onto the ship's mismatched hull. Alarms blared as the crew scrambled into action. The ship's shields flickered weakly under the first barrage. Sparks flew from control panels, but no one panicked. They had trained for chaos. The captain barked orders, and the pilot threw the ship into a wild, unpredictable roll. The maneuver made no tactical sense until it did. The aliens, accustomed to precise formations, struggled to track the ship's erratic movements. "Weapons online," the captain demanded. "Sort of," came the reply from the weapons officer. "I've got one functioning cannon and, whatever this is." He gestured to a glowing alien device fused into the ship's system. "Use it," the captain ordered without hesitation. The ship fired a chaotic burst of energy, more accident than precision. It didn't matter. One alien fighter disintegrated on impact, its sleek frame shredded by the unpredictable blast. The crew whooped in disbelief. The remaining fighters adjusted their tactics, circling for a coordinated strike. The ship was cornered, systems failing one by one. Smoke filled the cockpit. Desperation clawed at the edges of resolve. Then the captain saw it, a gap in the asteroid field, barely wide enough for the ship to squeeze through. "Brace yourselves," he shouted, slamming the controls forward. The ship hurtled through the gap, scraping its patched armor against jagged rock. Two alien fighters followed, but their precision worked against them. One clipped an asteroid and exploded, the other veered off course. The path was clear. The convoy was safe. The crew sat in stunned silence as the alien threat retreated. The ship, battle-scarred and smoking, had done the impossible. As they limped back to base, victory tasted sweeter for its improbability. The ship had proven itself not because it was perfect, but because it embodied the indomitable spirit of those who refused to give up. Word of the ship's improbable success spread like wildfire. What had once been a laughingstock among engineers and strategists was now hailed as a symbol of defiance. Soldiers spoke of it in hushed tones, calling it the relic, a tribute to its patchwork design and unlikely resilience. It had faced death head-on and come back victorious, carrying humanity's pride along with it. More missions followed. Each one more audacious than the last, each pushing the ship to the brink of destruction. It ferried critical supplies through hostile territories, conducted daring rescues from besieged colonies, and even spearheaded counteroffensives against alien fleets. No mission was too dangerous, no odds too overwhelming. The crew had learned to trust the ship's quirks, even when it seemed moments from falling apart. Yet the ship's reputation extended beyond human ranks. Alien commanders, once confident in their technological superiority, began to regard the vessel with a mix of fear and fascination. It defied their logic, its tactics unpredictable and infuriating. How could something so fundamentally flawed succeed time and time again? Their analysts had no answers. The crew, once a collection of strangers, became a family forged in the fires of constant danger. They no longer saw the ship as a collection of mismatched parts but as a living entity, a reflection of their own stubborn will to survive. They patched it up after every battle, coaxed life from its battered systems, and treated its malfunctions with a mix of exasperation and affection. The captain, grizzled and pragmatic, often said, "This ship isn't perfect. Neither are we. But together, we're unstoppable." His words became a mantra for the crew, a rallying cry in the face of impossible odds. Even civilians, desperate for symbols of hope, began crafting legends around the ship. Children on colony worlds drew crude pictures of it, imagining it as a fearless protector soaring through the stars. Poets and storytellers wove tales of its exploits, embellishing them until the line between fact and fiction blurred. Back on Earth, high-ranking officials, who once dismissed the ship as a foolish experiment, now paraded its victories as proof of humanity's ingenuity. They didn't understand how it worked, but they reveled in the results. Still, the crew knew the truth. The ship wasn't invincible. Each mission left it more battered, its systems more unstable. But that didn't matter. What mattered was that it kept going, just like its crew, just like humanity itself. As tensions escalated and alien forces prepared a massive counteroffensive, the ship and its crew were ready. They had defied expectations, shattered enemy formations, and become living proof that humanity could thrive even when everything seemed stacked against it. The ship had become more than just a vessel. It was a legend, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the sheer, unyielding determination of humanity. And its greatest challenge was still to come. The alien armada stretched across the void, a seemingly endless wall of death and precision. Their warships gleamed with polished menace, bristling with advanced weaponry capable of turning entire planets to ash. This was their final gambit, a decisive blow to crush humanity once and for all. At the forefront of humanity's battered fleet stood the ship. Scarred from countless battles, its patchwork hull held together by sheer defiance, it was a stark contrast to the pristine vessels around it. Systems flickered, power levels fluctuated, and the weapons array was barely functional. But the crew had long since learned that perfection wasn't necessary for victory, determination was. The captain's voice was steady, cutting through the tense atmosphere. "We've made it this far. No turning back now." As the alien ships closed in, energy blasts lit up the darkness of space. The human fleet moved as one, but it was clear the odds were grim. Ships exploded in fiery blooms, their wreckage spiraling into the void. The crew of the ship felt every loss, but there was no time to mourn. "Target their command ship," the captain ordered. "That's suicide," the tactical officer warned, his voice strained. "Maybe," the captain replied grimly, "but it's our only shot." The ship lurched forward, engines straining under the demand. Alien vessels swarmed to intercept, their weapons slicing through space. The ship weaved through the chaos, its erratic movements confounding the enemy. Damage reports flooded in, but the crew remained focused. A blast rocked the ship, sending sparks flying. The main power grid flickered dangerously. Alarms blared, but no one wavered. They had faced worse and survived. "We're not going down without a fight," the pilot growled, steering the ship into a daring maneuver that brought them dangerously close to the alien command ship. The tactical officer frantically calibrated the remaining weapon system, a volatile fusion of human and alien technology. It had never been fully tested, but there was no time for caution. "Weapon charged," the officer announced. "Fire," the captain commanded without hesitation. The ship unleashed a searing beam of chaotic energy, unstable and brilliant. It pierced through the alien command ship's defenses, detonating its core in a blinding explosion. Shockwaves rippled through the battlefield as alien ships faltered, their formations shattered. Cheers erupted from the crew, their disbelief turning into triumphant joy. The once invincible armada was in disarray, retreating into the void. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, rallied around the ship. Victory was theirs. As the crew caught their breath, silence filled the cockpit. They had done the impossible once again. The ship, battered and barely holding together, had led them to triumph. The captain surveyed his crew, pride evident in his eyes. "We're not just survivors," he said firmly. "We're the reason humanity will thrive." The ship, scarred but victorious, drifted through the stars, a testament to the unyielding spirit of those who refused to be defeated.